Hi, future LPTs! I am Teacher Yani, and this is our Board Licensure Examination for Professional Teachers Review 2025 series. So, in this project, each of us will walk you through different topics to help you review smarter and prepare better. So, today I will be covering mythology and folklore. So sit back, take notes, and let's get you one step closer to that license. And so before we begin, here are your instructions. So we have 10 multiple questions about mythology and folklore, of course. So first, read each question carefully and choose the correct answer. So for each question, you will be given 4 choices. So you will only have 10 seconds to think about your answer. So stay sharp and focused. So after the time is up, I'll reveal the correct answer and explain why it's correct and why the other options are not correct. Lastly, enjoy and take some notes. So grab your pen and paper, take some notes, and let's test how well you know your myths, heroes, and folk tales. Let's begin! Okay, so for our first question, in Greek mythology, Hades is often misrepresented. So, which of the following is a misconception about Hades? Again, in Greek mythology, Hades is often misrepresented. Which of the following is a misconception about Hades? So, letter A, he was the god of the dead. Letter B, he was equivalent to the devil in Greek belief. Letter C, he ruled the underworld. And letter D, he rarely left his domain. So you only have 10 seconds to think of the correct answer. Alright, time is up. So the correct answer is letter B. That's right. He was equivalent to the devil in Greek belief. So this is a misconception because Hades ruled the underworld, but he wasn't considered evil like the Christian devil. So that's a misconception. So as for the letters A, C, and D, those are actually true statements about Hades. Okay, moving on to our second question. Which pair of Roman and Greek gods are often incorrectly considered completely identical in role and personality? Again, which pair of Roman and Greek gods are often incorrectly considered completely identical in role and personality? Letter A, Mars and Ares. Letter B, Venus and Aphrodite. Letter C, Jupiter and Zeus. And letter D, Mercury and Hermes. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter A. That's right. Mars and Aries. So Mars and Aries are often incorrectly considered completely identical in role and personality. But the truth is, Mars was revered in Roman culture as a noble god of war, while Ares was seen as chaotic and disliked in Greek tradition. So the other pairs, letters B, C, and D, they had more consistent roles between the two cultures. Okay, so let's move on to our third question. So the question is, which event foretells the death of many gods and the end of the world in Norse mythology? Again, which event foretells the death of many gods and the end of the world in Norse mythology? Letter A, Ragnarok. Letter B, Valhalla. Letter C, Ginnungagap. And letter D, Yule. So the correct answer is letter A, Ragnarok. Because Ragnarok is the mythical apocalypse. So it is a great battle leading to destruction and eventual rebirth. So the other options, Valhalla is an afterlife realm, while Ginnungagap is a primordial void, and Yule is a winter festival. Okay, so for our fourth question, in the hero's journey, what does the atonement with the father stage typically symbolize? Again, in the hero's journey, what does the atonement with the father stage typically symbolize? So letter A literal confrontation with the hero's father. Letter B, the hero's discovery of divine ancestry. Letter C, resolution of authority, conflict, and inner transformation. And letter D, abandonment of the journey. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter C, that's right. The solution of authority, conflict, and inner transformation. So, the atonement with the father stage symbolizes resolution of authority, conflict, and inner transformation because this stage usually represents a major internal shift for the hero and often involves symbolic reconciliation with the authority. So, A and B are too literal. So, and the letter D is unrelated answer to the question. Okay, so question number 5. We're already half there. So, okay, question number 5. Compared to myths, what is the unique function of folklore in cultural transmission? Again, compared to myths, what is the unique function of folklore in cultural transmission? Letter A, to establish state religion. Letter B, to narrate cosmic origins. Letter C, to encode local customs and practical life lessons. And letter D, to create immortal gods. Okay, time is up and the correct answer is letter C. So it is to encode local customs and practical life lessons. So folklores shares everyday wisdoms and reflect community traditions, unlike myths which deals with divine beings or origin. So for the letters A, B, and D, they are typical myth functions. So they are not the correct answer. Okay, so for question number 6, which archetype often represents chaos, change, or hidden wisdom through mischief? Again, which archetype often represents chaos, change, or hidden wisdom through mischief? Letter A, the hero. Letter B, the mentor. Letter C, the shadow. And letter D, the trickster. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter D. That's right. The trickster. So tricksters are unpredictable, clever, and sometimes annoying, but they challenge the status quo and reveal deeper truths, while the other archetypes from the choices serves very different roles in stories. Okay, question number 7. Why was Prometheus' punishment particularly symbolic in Greek mythology? Again, why was Prometheus' punishment particularly symbolic in Greek mythology? Letter A, it showed the danger of questioning Zeus. Letter B, it represented the endless suffering of mankind. Letter C, it symbolized the cost of enlightenment or rebellion. And letter D, it proved that gods were merciful. Okay, time's up and the answer is letter letter C. So it symbolized the cause of enlightenment or rebellion. So Prometheus gave fire or knowledge to humans and paid the price. So his story warns against defying divine authority. So letters A and B are partly true, but it missed the deeper symbolism, while the letter D is the opposite of what the myths shows. Okay, next, question number 8. In Roman society, why was Mars more revered than Ares in Greek culture? Again, in Roman society, why was Mars more than Ares in Greek culture? Letter A, Mars was the son of Zeus. Letter B, Romans glorified war as a civic duty. Letter C, Ares was considered too peaceful. And letter D, Mars was the god of poetry and war. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter B. Romans glorified war as a civic duty. So Mars symbolized order and discipline. The same with value central to Roman identity. So the rest of the choices are inaccurate, especially letter D, which mixes unrelated roles. Okay, up to the second to the last question. Number 9. Which of the following is not always present in every hero's journey? Again, which of the following is not always present in every hero's journey? Letter A, the call to adventure. Letter B, the refusal of the call. Letter C, the mentor. And letter D, the resurrection. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter B, the refusal of the call. So letter B is the correct answer because not all heroes hesitate. So some heroes accept the call right away. So this stage isn't always included. So the remaining choices A, C, and D are more consistent across most hero journey narratives. Okay, now so we are down with our last question. Question number 10. Um, which of the following best fits the definition of a folk tale, not a myth? Which of the following best fits the definition of a folk tale, not a myth? A. The birth of Athena from Zeus' head. Letter B. The tale of Anansi tricking the leopard. Letter C. Odin sacrificing himself for wisdom. And letter D. Persephone's descent to the underworld. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is letter B, the tale of Anansi tricking the leopard. So this one is a classic piece of African folklore. So it has no gods, no cosmic origins, just life lessons and clever tricks. So for the remaining answers, A, C, and D, they are all myths involving divine beings and cosmology. So we are done with our 10 questions for review for the course Mythology and Folklore, and that's it for our board licensure examination for professional teachers review in Mythology and Folklore course. So I hope that you took some notes and learned how to dissect those tricky questions. And again, this is Teacher Yani reminding you, review smart, trust your prep, and claim that LPT title. Okay, see you in the next video, future educators. Bye-bye!